Hey, Charles here with Rocky Mountain, and today I'm going to be showing you how to replace your axle bearings on your Yamaha Warrior 350. So these bearings, they take a lot of abuse. They go bad all the time. So if you have play in your bearings or they're just worn out, we're going to show you how to replace them today. It's going to be a similar process for any of the Yamaha Warrior 350s. This one we're working on is a 96, but just make sure you reference your model specific service manual throughout the process. To start out, I want to talk about some of the tools that you're going to need to get this done. So we've got an axle nut wrench set. Just use the drop down menu on our website. That's going to make sure you get the right size for your machine. We've got a 40mm collet. We're going to use that with our slide hammer. And then you're also going to need a bearing and seal driver. So we've got a 65mm size and a 72. 65 is all you really need, but the bigger one can help you out. Now, other than that, we're going to be using grease, contact cleaner, penetrating oil. We've got some anti-seize and some thread locker. Now, as far as common hand tools go, you're going to need a torque wrench that goes all the way up to 170 foot-pounds. And then sockets and wrench sizes, you're going to range, you've got the common stuff, 10 to 19 millimeters. And then we've got a deep socket that is a 22mm size. So there you have it for tools. For parts and consumables, we've got our axle bearing kit. This one is from Tusk. It comes with both bearings and our seals. We've got several options for that on our website. And then we're also going to be using some contact cleaner, some blue thread locker, and we're going to be using some rubber gloves and some rags. The first thing we're going to do is inspect our bearings. So if you want to check if they're good or bad, you need to raise the rear wheels off the ground, and you want to make sure the machine is securely supported. So to do that, I'm using an ATV jack with a safety latch. Now with this raised off the ground, I'm just going to pull up and down on each of the back wheels. We're going to check for any play in those bearings. So you can see this machine has quite a bit of play on this right side bearing. So on this other side, if I move the wheel up and down or move the axle up and down, you can barely feel any play, but hey, we're in there. We want to make sure all of this stuff is good. So we're going to be replacing them both. Now the last check you can make is rotate the wheels. And if the bearings feel rough, they definitely need to be replaced. The first thing we want to do is remove the wheels on both sides. Now before I go further, I want to point out that hub right there, this is loose. So if this happens, it can wear out the splines on this axle. You don't want that to happen. So every now and then you need to make sure that, especially when you're going back together, make sure these bolts are torqued to spec. So from here, what we're going to do is remove this cotter pin and remove the bolt. Now one of the easiest ways is to put your parking brake on to loosen this up. But with that being said, we're going to give you a couple options here. Now, if your parking brake is not working, you can have a friend hold your brake while you use a breaker bar and your 22mm socket to loosen that nut. Now, if your brakes aren't working at all, you can use a pry bar with your breaker bar to loosen that. For us, I'm just going to use my impact. We'll slide that hub off. To remove these axle nuts, we're going to be using our special wrenches for the job, and these can be kind of stubborn, so it might help to use a little bit of heat. Now this outer one, it loosened up right away, but the inner one, this one's being stubborn. So I am using a little bit of heat and some penetrating oil. And to loosen this one up, I'm having a friend hold the brake as I pull this off. Then from here, we're going to loosen up our axle adjusters. We're going to move the adjustment forward so we can then remove our chain. And then there's two big bolts going through the carrier. So we're going to loosen the bottom one first, then the top. And these are kind of stubborn. We're using a little bit of penetrating oil. With those loose, you can use a pry bar and rotate that carrier bearing assembly all the way forward. After that, we can pull the top of the chain off of our sprocket, and I'm moving that to the inside or center of the machine. And then this chain guide, I'm gonna loosen up and remove both of the bolts. I'll push that forward, and then we can rock the sprocket assembly back and forth, and we're gonna pull that all the way off. After that, we need to get the rear brake caliper out of the way. So loosen up both bolts, and then you can use a bungee cord or some safety wire to hang this out of the way. Now to remove the axle, we're gonna use a dead blow hammer to help hit this out. It's probably stuck in there or rusted in place. And right on the end with these threads, I don't wanna be hammering on that, so I'm gonna cover that up with a socket. With the axle out, I'm gonna use a seal puller to remove this seal. And this one's being a little stubborn, so I'm actually gonna use a tire iron. It's gonna have a little bit wider surface. We'll pry that out. Now to remove the bearing, I'm gonna use a blindside bearing puller. This one's the 40mm collet. So I'm gonna make sure that centerpiece is screwed out. We'll push this into place until the flange is all the way through the center race. And it might be a little bit of a tight fit, so we're gonna tap this in. And I'm gonna tighten down the centerpiece, and that's just gonna make sure that the ends of the collet, it'll make sure they don't collapse, and that way we can pull this bearing out. So with this being a little bit rusty, it might help to use a little bit of heat around this housing right here, and then we're just gonna use our slide hammer and pull the bearing out. All right, I'm gonna use some heat. So we got the bearing out. We're gonna do those same steps on the other side. Keep in mind, you have a little spacer in here, so make sure you don't forget this when you go back together. Last thing I wanna point out is sometimes these bearings can come apart, so if that's happened to you, you might have to come in from the other side and use a punch to hit that outer race out. All right, with everything taken apart, this stuff is pretty corroded and rusty, so we're gonna clean everything up. Now, as we clean things up, you're gonna wanna pay attention to these collars where they ride on the seals. If you see deep grooves right there, then you're not gonna get a good seal, and you will want to look into some replacement parts. Now to install the bearings on the bearing carrier, I am going to apply just a thin film of grease where that bearing is gonna be driven in. We did have these in the freezer. That's gonna help put these into place. Putting a little bit of grease on the outside diameter of this as well. And as you drive this in, you wanna select the bearing driver that matches up with this outer race. You never wanna press on that inner race. And you're just gonna make sure this is squared up. Watch it as you drive it in, make sure it drives in straight. And just to get that squared up, I went with a slightly larger bearing driver initially. And once that bottomed out, got one that fits inside of that housing. And you're gonna hit that in all the way until you hear the pitch change. That means it's bottomed out on that collar inside this housing. All right, now for the seal. I'm going to apply some grease to these lips right here. Then I'm going to lightly grease that outside diameter. And again, just to make sure this squares up, I'm gonna start out with that bigger bearing and seal driver. And as you do this, you'll notice, or you might have noticed when you pulled the old seal out, that the seal is not completely flush with the outside surface. So we're gonna drive it flush with that outer surface, and then I'm using the smaller driver, and we're gonna bottom this out all the way. It should be inset about 4mm from the edge of that bearing carrier. Now on this other side, very important, don't forget this spacer, and you wanna make sure you have some grease on it. just in case moisture and things like that do work their way in there. Now I'm gonna lube up that bearing surface, and we're gonna drive this in the same way we did on the other side. So as I drove this bearing in, you could hear it bottom out, and then we lined up that inner collar, and if I rotate this, it barely rotates that inner race on the other side, and that's exactly what you want. And then on these surfaces that are gonna sit against our bearing, I'm just gonna apply some grease to them so they don't rust up. Then we can slide our axle back in. Next, we're gonna use some anti-seize on these splines. Then we're gonna slide the sprocket assembly on. Okay, next we can slide the sprocket in place. We're gonna work the chain on at the same time. And then we're gonna make sure the collar sits all the way down in our seal, so you might have to rotate the axle just a little bit to get it to sit all the way in. There we go. Make sure that axle's all the way forward, and get the chain or install the chain the rest of the way. And let's be real here. We desperately need a new chain and sprockets, but that's gonna be a separate project. Next, we're gonna reinstall our chain guide and install those 2 bolts. We're using a little thread locker on them. We'll tighten them down. Next, I'm gonna wipe down the brake rotor. I'm using contact cleaner and a rag. And then we are gonna reinstall the brake caliper. With that set into place, we'll reinstall the bolts and tighten them down. All right, now for the axle nuts. We need to clean off these threads. Once they're cleaned off, you can apply some thread locker to them. And then I'm going to thread on the first nut. You want to use your parking brake or have someone hold the brake, and use the axle nut tool and torque this to 40 foot-pounds. Next, we can apply just a little more thread lock, and then we're gonna thread on that second nut. We're gonna hold the first nut and then torque the second against it to 140 foot-pounds. Now at this time, once you've done that, you wanna take a Sharpie or a paint pen, make an index mark across both nuts. We're gonna reference this later. What we need to do now is back off the inner nut. We're gonna back that against the outer nut, and we're gonna torque that to 170 foot-pounds. Once you've done that, you wanna take a measurement from the center of each line and make sure that those lines moved at least 3 millimeters or more. If not, you wanna go back and repeat those steps. Next, we're gonna adjust our chain free play. We'll get it close and then set our adjusters and just make sure you're even on both sides. Tighten the jam nuts, and then we can tighten the bearing carrier bolts. Next, clean up this hub. We're gonna apply some anti-seize to these splines. Then I'll install the nut. I'm gonna torque it to 85 foot-pounds. Now on the end of the castle nut, if the slots don't line up with one of the holes in the axle for the cotter pin, you're always gonna slightly tighten. You don't wanna loosen. Next, reinstall your wheels and torque them to 32 foot-pounds in a crisscross pattern. All right, so there you have it. That's it for replacing the rear carrier bearings or rear axle bearings on your Yamaha Warrior. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. And if you need parts for your machine, you can find that stuff on our website. Just click the link in the description below. Orders over $75 ship free. And if you want to see more helpful content like this, subscribe to our channel. I'm Charles with Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Thanks for watching.